Patrick Watts was on air as a radio announcer in Port Stanley 30 years ago when Argentine soldiers invaded. He remembers the threat of invasion becoming a reality.
It was scary earlier on at about 3 o'clock in the morning when the governor told us that all attempts by everybody, the British government obviously, by the United Nations, by President Reagan, to tell the Argentines to hold off and go to the negotiating table, that all these attempts had failed. And he sort of uttered the immortal words, there's no turning back, we can expect them by dawn. And up until then, I'd really thought it wasn't going to happen. But, when that hits you, you do start to shake and you're worried. And I had two young children, and I was getting worried about them and my family, obviously. But then I did what I was trained to do, by the BBC. I opened up the microphone fader and started talking to people and asking them to respond. And then you sort of forget about what the situation is. You just aim to do a good program and get on and do the best you can. And as I say, the people were fantastic. The people responded so well, and they helped to make it a great, not planned program. No producers, no researchers, just me talking to the people. Yeah, and then in they came, and they had prepared cassettes. And of course, those days there was no internet, nothing fancy like today. So it was all cassettes, and they were in English and Spanish. And the Argentine national anthem, of course, kept coming up, as you'd expect. And they were saying that people's rights would be, observed, and privileges and so on. But it was a whole load of rubbish, because it wasn't very long before they had us driving on the right instead of the left, and Spanish was being introduced into the schools, and Argentine pesos became legal tender, and it was very difficult for people because it was something like 7,700 to £1. So you can imagine people trying to work out what the cost of things were in the shops. And then, of course, later, worse of all, they started taking our vehicles from us. People got arrested, people were interrogated, some people were put in prison.